Dream is not the thing you see in sleep, but it is that thing that doesn't let you sleep. This famous quote is given by Sir APJ Abdul Kalam. It gives us so much motivation and passion, right? And I met a girl who is living these lines. At the age of 13, she figured it out what she wants to do in her life. And she is living her dreams. A young and enthusiastic girl who always wanted to become a film director. And she started preparing for it from the age of 13. And today she is working on wonderful projects and she has so many things planned for her future as well. So let's welcome our today's guest, Anupriya.
Anupriya Kunhappan is a multidisciplinary artist. She is a creative director at work as well as a scriptwriter, video editor, promo designer, and she adores acting too. After receiving an outstanding rank in her filmmaking degree from Pune, she entered the field of filmmaking, which she had always loved. Her father, the well known filmmaker Anil Kunhappan, served as both an inspiration and the person who first started developing her skills at a young age. Anupriya has worked with illustrious name in the film industry, and we will soon see her in an action as an assistant director in Shajoon Kariyal's movie MBDK, which will be released this year. Let's discover this dynamic young woman's journey and get to know her.
Anu, when I saw your short film, The Only Ones, it was about a cockroach. And the way you had, picturized it, and I think you did it during Corona time when lockdown was going on. And it was so impressive that from that day onwards, I always wanted to have this conversation with you. And I'm so happy that finally it is happening today. So, a very warm welcome to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's my pleasure, actually.
So Anu, I would love to know like how all this thing started for you. Like how did you find your interest into this creative film, in this creative field of directing and working with videos and all?
Actually, ma'am, to be honest, I always knew that I wanted to be part of the film industry. I was in fifth grade, I think, last year, I remember. Like in school, our principal and teachers asked us, what do you want to be when you grow up? So everybody's talking, they want to be a pilot, a teacher, and all. And I just stand up and with full confidence, I go, I want to be a film director. So to get it out of the hand, my dad is actually a writer. So he has been writing for a couple of years now for films. So because of that, I already knew an idea about the film industry and I was always very interested with it. Acting was what actually pulled me into it, but direction I developed according to my school age was actually my forte, doing dramas, skits, mimes, dances, choreography, and all. So direction became a very big aspect for my life, and I always knew I wanted to go for it.
So Anu, you mentioned different areas of like writing, production, and also how did you find your calling only in direction? Like what things were there which
Uh,
made you so much interested in that?
I guess I just figured it out in my school time actually because we were given assignments, if you could do direction of any drama or skits and mimes. And through it all, I traversed and I figured the direction was where I had my strong point. My leadership qualities, a vision of what exactly I wanted, how to make it into a collaborative process and bring it out. So working through that is how I figured it out. School time would become my biggest time where I actually had direction in my hand. Then I chose to do further study in filmmaking and all, and I figured direction was my strong point. But yeah, I have gone into other fields. I have done writing, I have done editing, I have done acting. So there are other places I can traverse to.
It's amazing to know that you're a multitasking person and you have worked on various things. So Anu, like you said that you also did your education into the same field. So could you please tell us more about it? Like how did you pursue for it? How did you start into this field with the education part?
Okay. Actually, my education in films began way back, probably much earlier than when I was 13 years old, because, like I said, my father is a writer. So he would, start to ask me to read his scripts or read a point and brainstorm and tell what I felt about it. So I think 13 is a very young age to start, but his criticism and that critical thinking that inculcated in me, that helped me develop it. A script sense is what he terms it as. He says that every film, every person in the film needs to have a script sense. That is when you start off because the script is the backbone of the film. So I started in that age, that young age. But through it all, during school years, even though I was more into academics, I was also equally into co-curricular activities, like I said, dramas, theaters, skits, dances, mimes. So all of that gives us, more creative expressionism, which helps us figure out what we really want to express. What is that we are trying to visually accomplish there. Then after school, I actually did my degree in filmmaking from Pune. So it is a bachelor's in journalism, mass comm with specialization in filmmaking. So since after school, I already knew that film is what I wanted. I didn't want to go into any other stream and waste my time. I was like, let's go for this. Chose Pune, got into field, and everybody would say a film school is not necessary, and I also believe that. But the thing is, you just get more people like you around you, so you can just go around, make film, shoot things, discover ideas about it, discover more into its theory, practical sense, and all that you need to know so that you can use it in the best way possible. So education has played a big role in it. Not necessarily just film education, but through it all, the co-curricular activities create a side of it.
So
That's all.
after completing your course and everything, like easily you started getting the assignments, or was it challenging to start the work?
Nobody gets assignments that fast unless you're really rich or something. But I think throughout college, being in a film college especially, your assignments mainly like everything you need to study, you will get to know in semester one, theory wise. Rest is all go out there, make movies, figure out what it is that you want to do in movies. Is it editing? Is it direction? Is it camera person or something like that? So that's what we did. I had my friends and all. We would do a lot of random assignments. We would just roam around. We would talk, brainstorm ideas, creativity just flowing everywhere. So like that, assignments don't come on its own, but you can go, because you're in the film college, you will get contacts. You can talk to people, go to events like Film Bazaar by NFDC and all. So I also did an internship in Mumbai through some contacts at Oberoi IBC, which is Anand Oberoi's advertising agency. And through there, I was able to, figure out more about the industry. Then using all the contacts here, the whole thing about the film industry is contacts. So you have to go through to the contacts. So doing that, I was able to get into assignments for short films. I even directed a couple of short films. Then I was lucky enough to land a post as an assistant director in filmmaker Shajoon Kariyal's film, which is coming out very soon. So like that, your assignments will come, but you really have to push yourself. You cannot just, do the study and wait you will get the calls. You have to go out there. It's a lot of, not begging, but you have to go out there and show off what you have so that people actually feel like, yeah, let's give that person a chance. That's how it works actually.
That's fantastic to know. So, Anu, when you started, what was that, a big break that you could say that, okay, that was the one where you felt that, okay, now finally I have landed into this film, or I'm getting the opportunity I was looking for?
That would certainly be the film I mentioned by filmmaker Shajoon Kariyal. He is a legendary director, and more so, he's like such a visionary filmmaker. So I was lucky enough to land a role as an assistant director on this project. So we just finished shooting last year actually. It went on for 3-4 months, the production. So through it all, the whole thing of filmmaking becomes clear to you. And it's a big collaborative process. It's not one person's vision. It is so many people. It's like hundreds of people involved in it, everybody, and as an assistant director, you're the one who has to bear the brunt of it. You're responsible for the whole collaborative process that happens in one day. Whether the costumes, the makeup, the properties, the art department, the actors, the artists know their dialogues, everything that is there on set. Is it prepared for that one day? So that the director can just come there, put his vision into the camera, give his orders there. The assistant directors are basically like the arms and legs of the director. We need to work it out that way. So that was the greatest experience I had, Touchwood, and I was lucky enough to do that film. It was everything that I needed to know about films I got from that one film. It is coming out very soon, maybe in June or July. So after that, things have started working out better for me because I figured out it made me sure that this is what I want. That thrill you get, that excitement, that feeling you get by being with a cast and crew, traveling with them constantly. You become a big family. I mean, last day of set is always sad. You don't want to leave anybody. And more so, you don't want to leave that excitement you get every day. It's 24 hours work. It is brutal. I'm telling you, it is brutal work. But if you're really passionate about it, it's what gives life to every day. So that mattered a lot to me. So that one film completely gave me the idea that films, that's it. That's what I'm doing after.
I could feel that enthusiasm and passion in your words itself, that, how nicely you're enjoying your work. So, Anu, as a creative director, as an assistant director, how your day looks like, how do you start, and what all things it includes?
Okay, so as a creative director, first off, a creative director is basically like the umbrella term for someone who goes after the vision. So it doesn't mean just a creative vision. It's like basically deciding what all comes in the frame. What's the set design like? What would the costumes be like? Makeup, hairstyling, every element of it comes in the video. So a creative director is basically the guy who has to uphold it all to make sure that what the director's vision, it can go beyond it. It can become something of aesthetic value. So right now I'm working as a creative director for my father. We are doing a couple of anthologies of short films. So working on that, my basic day is like, it starts off early. I need to get into charting, budgeting, on planning all the things because before a shoot, there's a lot of that goes into the pre-production. If you have a strong material ready in your pre-production, shoot is easy. Not much of money is lost by the producer, and you get good stuff, and on time because there's a lot of struggles that come with a shoot, like the timing, the lighting, as you must know, and there's a lot of artist timing. You have to make sure everything's on point. You cannot waste time on a shoot. So a creative director and partly as an associate director and assistant director, I have to get all that ready. So the director can focus on his work with peace and make sure what he wants comes on frame. So I do all the back end work basically. So it starts off early. We have a lot of discussions, brainstorming with the writer director, and we have to make sure that everything comes on point and then give a lot of time to think how can things work out better, what else we can add to it. And then we have to make sure structurally and practically it's ready, make calls constantly, talk to people, get the cameraman on project, get the gaffer on project, everybody on the loop. So everybody's in the same set of mind. And when the shoot begins, we are all in the same headspace and we all know what exactly we want to get. So that's basically the creative director's duty here. So
Yeah,
it's
so you're the
basically it's a
backbone of the
24-hour
project.
hectic job. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. We have to prepare the back end of it. Yeah.
So, where you have been doing on multiple things, like you are managing so many people. So, what kind of challenges do you find here?
Challenges, to be honest, I wouldn't like to bring this topic up, but as a girl in the industry, there will be challenges that will come to you. But then nowadays, as you say, any industry would have that challenges as a girl. So I think rather than focusing on it, you can just focus on your work and you can choose to see the good side of it. There will be many bad elements that come into it, but there are things you can do nowadays. If it gets too out of hand, there are people you can talk to and get it sorted out. But till then, if you can manage, I think you should just manage because the best part is when you're working, nothing else should matter. It should be just work. So there's like a professional creativity that comes into it. If it gets to be like personal challenges, like something you're not able to make up time for it and all, luckily this industry gives you flexibility for it. As of now, at least, you are flexible with what you can choose to decide which project to do, how much time you want to invest into it, how much of your passion you want to invest into it. So as the challenges will remain in your thought process actually in this industry. So you're mentally how stable you feel you can be. Do you feel like yes, I can keep doing this? Because anybody who's starting off will know there's not a lot of money wise you can be safe. You're not safe as such income wise. So you need to be ready for the risk, the struggle, and those challenges are usually mental because society has the pressure. Maybe your family has the pressure. You're not making money yet. Where are you going? Are you sure this is gonna work out? Do you have a plan B? So if you're able to, just keep that aside, keep maybe push it to the subconscious mind and work, then there are no challenges. It's just working, waiting for the next big thing. I believe.
Yeah, you touched a very correct point. It's very common with the creative people. Like they have to prove it in terms of money also.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
two simultaneous things. Like it may come one after another. So, Anu,
Yeah, I mean, ma'am, to be honest, I feel like creative people, right? They actually get their satisfaction when their craft comes on screen. Because, like I said, 100 people working on a film, when the film is showcased on the theater, everybody watches with the same pride. They always feel it's our film. Nobody says it's that director's film or that writer's film. They say it's our film because they were part of the film, and the film would not have been possible without them, even a spot boy, for example. So the money thing, the income thing, the name, the fame, it all comes because of society, right? Because of your family. Like, what? I didn't see you become a big deal. Just because your name is on the screen, but your face is not, it becomes a big deal. So I think all of that shouldn't matter really. And eventually people just figure it out.
That's true. That's true. So, Anu, yeah, after putting so much efforts, after doing all these things, if it happens sometimes, when things don't work out, where, the movie doesn't see the success and all. So, how it happens, not just you, but the whole team who have been involved with this, how they take it.
To be honest, so far as I've seen, when a film doesn't, click at the blockbuster, for example, okay, at the box office, the crew doesn't really care. I mean, they are like, we gave it our best. We know what it was there. They care about their work. It came on screen. That is the biggest success there can be. If it made a lot of money, if it was a box office hit, great. If it didn't, fine. It can tank. It's like so many films are there, like so many films out there right now, so many filmmakers, so many people just getting into the industry. It's like the competition is increased, but the people who work behind, they don't really care about that because they are just happy what they made is right there, for people to watch. Some people will like it, some might not. Critics might say otherwise and all. It all comes down to we made something happen. There are so many people who just keep thinking we'll make a movie or we'll do something, but they don't do it. We made it happen. So that becomes the big part actually for the film.
Such a
It
wonderful
is.
motivation you have provided for so many people by your statement. Yeah. And
Yeah,
you also
I hope
mentioned that,
so.
yeah, yeah, that kind of spirit we need. Like we have given 100%, then it's enough. Like, there is no point in crying for something. We need to move on and we have to restart it
Yeah,
again. So, Anu, you mentioned that
exactly. This is
work. Yeah, yeah, please carry on.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, all of this is what I learned in that one set, of that film by Shajoon. So it's like all the people they would constantly tell me this: just give your best. It doesn't matter what happens. It's gonna come on screen. It's gonna happen. We're gonna do this. It's right about that moment. It's about the present moment. They don't care about the future. They're like in the present moment. You give your everything, like more than your 100%. You make sure the shot is perfect, the scene is perfect, everything is top class, maybe even better than that. That's good enough for it. Yeah.
So, along with wearing a cap of a creative director, is there any other things like as you are interested into writing and acting and all? What are the other areas which you are exploring?
Very recently, I got into editing actually. It happened like I used to edit some music videos and all, but then my father asked me to edit one of his short films. I did it, it came out well. So I thought, well, I like it. I like the process of, what we capture, having it in my hands and putting it, cutting and pasting it and putting it, maybe putting transitions, adding with the music. The whole thing became more creative actually. So very recently, I got into editing and I'm actually an editor now. I've been doing a couple of films. I also got into coloring. So there is DI and coloring of films that I also do. And other than that, acting is something I ventured into. I always have a feeling I might venture into acting, but I was able to do that through two short films recently. Since the first one came out well, and my acting was termed as pretty good. So I also went into a couple of workshops and all. So I'm getting that, but it's a parallel track. My main track has always been and will always be direction. But what's bad? It's my industry. I'll figure out acting, be it editing, be it camera, any work. I'm really happy to just be a part of it. And
Yeah, I know, I'm curious to know one thing. Most of the time, what happens, people will love to get that recognition in term of, they should be visible in front of the camera. Whenever I watch movies or anything, I always feel that, a lot of hard work has been put up by the people who work behind the camera. So what is
right.
their motivation? They are not visible. Their names will be there on the screen, but people may not recognize them. They recognize the main characters only. So, what is the driving force for the people who are working behind the camera?
It's surprising, but when I got into the industry, I got to know that so many people who are actually crew members were people who came into the industry to become an actor.
Okay.
So the thing is, everybody, at least maximum people who join the industry are because they want to become actors. And they see their way through in by being part of the back end crew. Fine, if we can't be in the stage, we'll be in the backstage, that kind. And many people through that figure out that maybe they're into it, or maybe acting is not in their scope, or maybe they really want to go for it or not. And when they feel like maybe they're happy with this back end crew thing, they join into it, they get into it. And some people actually figure out they're really talented and skilled at it because being a gaffer, for example, knowing lighting and everything, not an easy task. I mean, I really commend gaffers for knowing the job. I mean, they are responsible for the light up of the whole set, and they're on time always. The director can just completely rely on them. Similarly, camera team. Without the camera team, there is no film, and they know exactly what to capture, how pretty or how much more better they can make it. Similarly, every person, I guess, they eventually figure it out. to know what their motivation is. I think eventually every person in the film field, be it actor or a sport boy, they in their heart they really just want to be part of a film. They want to be part of Bollywood or Mollywood, for example. They just want to be part of something creative. They don't want to be doing maybe a test job or something, and they would rather be active. They would be involved in it. But yeah, there are too many people who would rather be in front of the camera, like you said. And some people figure it out that yeah, they can do it. Some people still go after it. Some people choose to be happy with what they're doing, and maybe they figure out they're good at it. So it's a very complicated question actually to answer. And I cannot answer for so many people, but I can say that everybody's driving force will definitely be making an artwork, because a film is probably one of the greatest creations of art, right? And you are responsible. You are one of the people who's responsible for it. And without you, probably this could not have been made so well. That itself is the greatest motivation for
That
any crew member.
your passion for your work that you are doing, and you're doing it for the best.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's all about the craft. It's all about the art.
exactly. So, Anu, what are the, we have different film industries, like in South, we have multiple languages and we have Bollywood and all. So what are the, what all industries you have worked so far?
I have worked partly in Bollywood. I have also done a couple of Marathi films. I've worked in a little bit of that. And right now, mainly I'm focusing in Mollywood, which is Kerala film industry. So it's like a lot of traveling basically. So I'm not set anywhere. I've just started. I am not into it couple of years now. It's 2 years that I've gotten into the industry as such. So Mumbai, I'm also part of the advertising industry and film industry. So it overlaps. Then there is mainly Kerala. Right now, I'm trying to focus on Kerala, and but the target is actually outside. I really want to go out of India, go to maybe Ireland, Turkey, and figure out their films. I've been an avid watcher of their films, and I really want to gather exposure from there, experience, and I just want to explore basically, and then maybe come back here, make cinema better or something like that.
It's wonderful to know about your goals, Anu, because you have started at such a young age and you have so
Yeah,
many things to do. So definitely you will do it
exactly.
one day and we'll catch up again at that time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really not looking for on the spot success. I just want to travel. I want to see things, explore things, experience it. And I really want to get success late. I just want to make sure that I have so much experience in my backpack. So by the time I'm there, then I can put everything into it. I can put everything into my work. So for that, I really need to live first, I think. Yeah.
Anu, one more thing I wanted to know, like you have worked with your father also. So how have been the experience with you? Like at home, you are a father and a daughter, but when you're on the sets and all, so how do you deal with each other? Are you professionals there, or how have been your experience working with your father?
Uh, Good question because I'm presently working with my father. So I had started really early, right? Like when I was 13 or maybe younger. So back then it was just brainstorming into the writing process. But through it all, I completely regard my dad as my mentor. He's responsible for everything that I know about scripts and creativity and all. So through it all, he was my teacher. It's not been easy. It's never easy when your greatest criticism and motivator or mentor is your own father, because it's never just at the workplace. It's also back home. I mean, yeah, sure, we are father and daughter back home, but it's also, people who work together, who are partners right now. So there's a lot of room for argument. He's not strict or anything. So there's a lot of room for argument. And at those level, I'm not his daughter. We are at the same equal level. So we share our ideas because at the end, we really want what's best for the craft, right? We don't want to undermine anyone or anything. So it becomes easy that way because we know what is important, which is the craft or the art. And working on sets, surprisingly, we are in tandem. We are in sync because we have been discussing so much into these subjects. So we know exactly what each other wants. So I work as his associate or creative director. He's the main director. So we actually direct people accordingly. So when he feels like he's not able to get his message through, I do that for him. So it's always in sync and in tandem. And to be honest, I've noticed in sets so far when we are working together, other people feel more comfortable because they know, okay, we have two people to rely on, now that becomes easy. So I'm more than glad to help him with it and be there for him. And because I truly believe his subjects are so perfectly good that they need to come out. So that's why I'm completely invested into it right now. And it's not easy. It's not easy. It's challenging, but that is one of the best parts. You get to experience this as a family as well. So, worth it.
That's wonderful to know. I know, like, you already have worked on multiple projects, and what are the upcoming projects that you are working on now?
upcoming the feature film I worked on. It's called Mritu Bhave Drida Kritye. It's Malayalam. It's an acronym MBDK. It will be releasing in June and July or something. It is a big project. It's something people are really looking forward to. Besides that, I'm presently working on two anthologies with my father. So that is like series of 5 short films that will be released together. They will also be individually releasing them to film festivals. So they are really relevant topic short films, some stuff that really matter and have twists. Some are controversial even. So that's what we're mainly working on. There are a couple of other projects that I'm not at the liberty to discuss right now, but things are going really great. So it's really hectic, but it's completely the best time of my life.
Fantastic to know that, and I'm looking forward to watch all your short films and movies and everything. Anu,
Yeah.
I would love to know one thing, that there might be so many people around you, youngsters who want to pursue their career into creative direction and filmmaking and all. What advice would you like to give them, or what suggestion would you like to give them on basis of your experiences?
Right. I think for anybody who's looking to come into the industry, it really matters if they know what they want and how much they want it and why they want it. Because you know how people are always telling not to go into the industry, there's so much risk, maybe you never become something or anything. So that is true. It's completely true. Nobody's denying that. But if you're really sure about it, like you really want that, there's nothing else you would rather do than be part of a film, then go for it, like go for it. You will figure out the steps, you will have a blueprint of an idea. If not a film school, if you did engineering or some other study, also you can still get into it. Try to find contacts, going to workshops. There's so many workshops all over India right now. Every city, every state has it. Or there are film clubs, there are theater groups. Go into it, get welcome, get contacts, and keep weaving. So it's like if you really want to be a part of the industry, it won't work really, I believe so, if you have too many things going on. You need to choose it, go for it. I'm not saying you can't do something parallel. You can have a parallel thing going on, some jobs to keep you economically or income wise satisfied. But if you're going for it, don't stop, because once you stop and you take a break, you're gone. It's like you won't be remembered in the industry. It matters if you're there at that point, you're working on it constantly. People know you're there. The more people come to know, the more you're recognized, more work comes to you. And eventually it takes time. It's a no doubt about it, it's a time taking process. But if you're really there, if you really want it, it will come to you. It will be worth it, completely worth it. So I would say the youngsters that if you choose this field, be sure you want it. Don't be in two minds. You need to really be sure. And once you go after it, then have no doubts. Just go after it. Don't care what comes next. Just do everything possible you can do for it. Like one of my teachers in Act Lab Kochi, Sajeev Nambiar sir, he told me this. Like once you choose acting, for example, go after it. Small roles, big roles, whatever. Keep your mind logically be there. You don't have to just give up everything. Logically be there, go after it, but don't have doubts, because the more room for doubts, the more people can get into your head, in this industry and convince you why it's not right for you or maybe why you won't make it. And all those doubts are not going to help you, because acting in itself is like something you need to bring out a lot of confidence for. So you really need to be sure. Once you're sure, go after it, worth it. Don't think about the what's next, think about the now.
Yes, it's all about, taking actions rather than just sitting there and
Yeah,
procrastination about it. So, Anu, thank
exactly.
you so much. I'm really sure that, your words will inspire the people, who want to pursue their career in filmmaking and direction and everything. Because these days I'm seeing, youngsters who are really want to do something creative. Everyone is not just behind a particular field. If I talk about you only, I know that your mother has a PhD in chemistry. And so
Yeah,
you have chosen a totally different path, and that was totally acceptable. And it's a wonderful thing that you are doing something where your passion lies. So
yeah.
I'm so happy to meet youngsters like you who are making changes, and I wish you all the best wishes for your future endeavors.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was really a great pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much, Anu.